Morning, Emma. Hope you're doing well. Can see you're in the chat already. Hopefully this pops up. Yay! First time, and it's a little bit fuzzy, but that's okay. Hope everyone is doing okay. We are in Balmoral. Well, we were for that little intro, and thanks to Scott Davies for providing that intro. I hope you got the chance to see that, Scott. That's Balmoral in Sydney. Scotty sent that across to me yesterday, saying he'd done one of my 4-minute intros. He'd obviously noticed that I'd been reusing some of my intros because I just can't get out and film them at the moment. Let's go to what we're at the moment. We're in Italy, doing a bit of bike riding uphill. This is the Lake Garda, Italy, 4K video, and all the details underneath are using the Garmin interface. So yeah, it's quite nice there. Hope everyone's doing well. That fuzzy kind of reception here. I'm gonna have to focus that camera. That should be a little bit better. So what's everyone doing? Morning, Mr. Scott. I hope you got to see your intro there. That was 4 minutes or 3 minutes of Balmoral, which never apparently gets waves. And yeah, they've had waves lately. So the whole world is changing and adjusting, and I don't know what's going on. It's just weird. And there was another explosion somewhere around the world. I haven't had a chance to double check it or look into it yet, but things are different. Things are a bit messed up around the world, aren't they? So I guess all you can do is laugh sometimes. Increase the intensity. Morning, Mr. Milan. How you doing, mate? I hope that Channel 7 thing went well for you yesterday. We managed to get the footage from Channel 7 too last night. So yeah, some of those things I've done in the past. It's you know, sometimes Channel 7, Channel 9, Channel 10 here in Australia, they do their morning shows or they create a segment and that business wants to use the footage. And sometimes, like I've heard in the past, they will say you have to pay for it. We've obviously produced that content, and I agree with them that, you know, they've made that, and if you want to use it for your own business purposes or whatever, they'll charge you for it. But in Milan's case, he asked if they could use it, and being a small business, I'm just thinking, well, they're like, well, just use it. What are we going to do with it? So we managed to screen scrape the video and the audio, and hopefully Milan will be able to use that for whatever he wants to. So yeah, all good right there. Yesterday, massive day doing edits for a council. We're trying to introduce about 20 kilometres of new bike lanes, connecting council areas together through bike lanes and paths and roadways and that kind of thing. So I did try and put on the agenda the personal electric vehicles, and they wouldn't have a bar of it. But it was interesting, they had heard about it. And I think they've tried, but they just knew it wouldn't pass legislation. So it seems like there is some hurdles on the inside of these councils and legislation makers that are making it very tough to get PEVs legalised. There must be a roadblock somewhere. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure out why I'm so... Am I fuzzy? Let me know. I feel like this behind me is in focus, and I'll work on that next time. But feeling good still. I did have a bit of a naughty night last night. I had a bit of carrot cake, had some cookies, I had an ice cream. But after a full day in a freezing cold garage, which I'm trying to do something about, I do have a little oil burner heater, but it just doesn't do anything. I'm wearing long johns, which is like thermal top and bottom underneath my clothes, trying to keep warm, but it's meant to be 15 today. So I'm hoping I'll be able to go for a bike ride outside and get a bit of fresh air, and also finish off hopefully the Google Earth Engine. I think it's called Google Earth Engine or Google Earth Studio. If you look that up, you've got to actually register your interest and explain what you'd be using it for before they'll let you use it, because it taps into a lot of very cool video editing opportunities using the Google Earth Engine. So we got that about 6 months ago. We got approval as a business, and hopefully we'll get to use it on this. And what it means is you can actually control, like if you've gone to earth.google.com before, it's just the world, you can zoom in, it's all 3D. But with this Google Earth Engine, I'm pretty sure that's what it's called, you can completely change the speed of the camera, the way it comes in. You can make it like a bird. You can fly through cities and around buildings and kind of like Superman. So it's very clever, and you can ease it in, ease it out, change the positionings. So yeah, we've got some ideas on some other websites we're doing for a financial company that they want to do it for their office locations. So they'll have a map of the world, and the world is your oyster or whatever it's called, and then you click onto one of their offices, say Melbourne. It'll zoom down to Melbourne, go past all the famous monuments and things like that, and then you'll end up at their office. And what we want to do is use the Google Street View. So as soon as you go to the front door, it morphs into that version, and you're in there and you can have a look around. So it's pretty interesting, cool stuff. Because right now you can't obviously go anywhere, so why not experience virtually and see, build up the profile of this business anyway. Whoo! Good morning, Danny Black. Wanting to see this green screen in action. I know it is. Can you see it behind me? Hang on. No, you can't. It's tucked up, folded up just over there. I will have to do that. Even this position's not bad. Like if I had the green screen behind me and I went to that view, right? But it was the other view of me with the green screen. I think that would look all right. What do you think? There's a little bug in this at the moment. I've got to go click. Did that work? There we go. Yeah, I've got to figure out what's going on with the remote there. Mr. Exchange, good morning. Good to see you. Running late, 2-year-old daughter is having one of those mornings. Same with our kids. Our daughter was up at 5:30 this morning, causing all kinds. No, actually 4:30, and then she screamed the house down for about an hour. I don't know how, but my son sleeps through it, and he's in a couple of rooms away from her. And we just let her go because she's been doing it quite a fair bit. She finally went back to sleep, and we're like, yes. And then everything started to settle, and then up she went again. She started crying, so the wife got up and did I think it was like 5:30 to 6:15, and then I got up at 6:15 and did an hour so she could go back to sleep. But it's nothing too bad, you just sit there, watch a bit of telly with them. They just want to chill with you, and then it's nice. You look down and you've got this awesome little kid watching a bit of Bluey. Yeah, it's fun. So much easier to use than you think, I bet. And I know you've shown me there's some chroma thing in Mimo Live. I just flick that on and you pinpoint the color that you want to subtract or something, and off it goes. It's a good thing with Mimo Live, and they're constantly updating this software. There's some things that I'm doing on here, just my phone. That's how I control the whole thing. I'll show you. Watch this. I press this, boop, and I go off. I go back to this one, boop, back on. Very easy, very clever, very simple. Ooh, how good is this view? Let's get to the view anyway. Now he's going 27 k's an hour. There's a 0% incline. He's done 13.5 kilometers so far, so I've jumped into this about halfway through. My normal range for me, before I'm absolutely buggered, is about 18, 19k range at the moment. And I'll tell you, tomorrow, thank you very much for the feedback from the trivia night on Sunday night for those that were watching. Yeah, latency is obviously an issue, not with audio or video, but the delay between when I push it up onto YouTube and YouTube actually broadcasts it out to everybody is about 15 seconds. What's my 122? And it's not good enough. If you're playing trivia, you don't want your people to be on their apps on the next question while you're on the previous question on their video. So tomorrow, as part of this particular live stream daily, is I'm going to do it at ultra low latency. It's just a setting in YouTube that you can choose. And wow, we're going fast here. We're going 47 kilometers an hour. It's a setting that you can put into YouTube, and I just want to see if it does affect the quality of the audio or the video. Whoa, he's doing 32 k's around a corner and there's a car. That could have been quite full on. Danny, I think a new strategy for sharing stuff like this is to get people to share it in a Facebook message to people, like say share it with 3. Exactly. And now that we've got a fair few of these under our belt, and I do hope that Danny and Emma and all the guys, they want to get on and maybe do some exercise with us at the same time. Doesn't matter. I think it's going to be great. I think that's when we can start to say, hey, everybody, just grab your toast or grab your skipping rope or whatever it is and join in and have a bit of fun. You can ask questions, you can choose the topic of the day. Let's see where this goes. So my aim anyway, to get a little bit more people out on this, is those kind of gyms that are doing it tough. You know, I'll get a whole listing of the gyms around Melbourne, F45, all that kind of stuff, for instance, and say, hey, if you're missing your gym, why not jump on here and do your exercise while listening to some idiot talk about whatever while he's bike riding virtually through Italy, and see if people just come in and think it's a good idea. Sometimes local as well helps. People like to hear a local voice or talk about local stuff that's going on. We had a record yesterday amount of deaths from COVID. I think it was 17 or 19. But we also, the new cases are starting to fall. There is a website you can go to called coviddata.com.au. I should be able to see COVID data, I think. Let me just check. No, it's not COVID data. COV, it might be COVID-19 data. Just check. Nope, there it is, covid19data.com.au. This should tell me how many deaths they're going to report, not deaths, new cases overnight. Just having a quick look. Okay, so it hasn't updated yet. It was apparently 337 yesterday, and that's around Australia. Just want to find Victoria and focus, because it seems like all the other states are doing okay. Sydney seems to have contained it. Whew, building up a sweat here. This is good. Latest update, 10th of August at 7 p.m. So no new data has come through. It's about 9 o'clock that it comes through anyway. Whew. So hopefully good news today. That's what we're aiming for anyway. Just go back into my remote control, reload. Bingo, we're back. So, what did I call this one? Oh yeah, what would be your last meal if you're on death row, or if you were just gonna, I don't know, jump off a bridge tomorrow or something? Don't do that, by the way. What would be your last meal? And let's get down to the nitty gritty. Let's say, what would that meal be? Where would it be? And what would you be drinking at the same time? Interested to find out, because really, do we spoil ourselves enough these days with simple pleasures like food? Do we restrict ourselves for whatever reason and just decide, no, I haven't been a good enough person, or I haven't achieved my goals for the week, I'm not going to eat that? That's alright, good on you, Emma, thanks for listening in. Mac and cheese, homemade for Scott Davies. Your wife or yourself, you must have one of those key recipes, or I don't know, there might be a special ingredient in there that you're not going to let us know about. For instance, when I was young, my dad used to make hamburgers, and his secret ingredient was Weet-Bix, and he'd mix all that in, and it just gave it a little bit of a crunch on the inside, even though it was gooey. It was an interesting burger, that's for sure, but it stuck it all together with a bit of egg and breadcrumbs and all the usual stuff. And I'll tell you mine in a sec, but I'm interested to see what everybody else thinks as well. Mr. Exchange, love to hear what you think. And Scotty, what would you put with the mac and cheese? In terms of a glass of milk? Or what would I do? Maybe because it's pasta, you might have like a white wine, or a nice pale ale, a nice, local beer, something like that. Crispy bacon mixed through. Yes, now you're talking. There's that special ingredient. Wow. And even the ultra latency should help with these kind of things too. Like if I'm asking questions, it'd be really good to get the answers back a bit quicker too, rather than it being like a 20-second delay. But for me, I think for me it would be, and where would it be actually? My favourite moment with the missus was at the Meat and Wine Co. here in Melbourne, which is a restaurant. There's I think 3 of them around Victoria. I'm not sure if they're anywhere else. So obviously Meat and Wine Co., as that name suggests, it's going to have some good meat and some good wine. And the night that we went was like a degustation event for one of the well-known South Australian, I think it was like the Barossa Valley was putting on a gig at this venue, and it was a 7-course meal with matched wines. So we're like, whoa, and it was like $90 each. And we're like, that's really good value. Let's do this. This was like 3 or 4 months into us being together. I'm going to increase the intensity. I'm not panting enough. Oh, I feel the burn. And so we sit down and we have our first one. It was just like, I can't remember, it was like a little bit of like raw meat or something, and we had a glass of wine there, and the wine glasses, normally with these things, they just fill them up as a taster. But they were filling them up as probably over a decent standard glass. Oh, there's a few in Sid, good. Oh yeah, there is. There's one in Darling Harbour from memory. So we're sitting there, and then another glass comes over, and I'm like, oh, we haven't got our second course. She's like, no, this is for the first one. We're like, oh, is it 2 glasses per course? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, hang on, 7 courses, 2 glasses per course, that's 14 glasses of wine, and they're big glasses. I'm like, we're going to get tanked. This is going to be good. And luckily we weren't driving either. But I think it was like the 4th or 5th course, just jumping ahead, was one of the best steaks I'd ever had, with some of the crispiest duck fat chips I'd ever had. And if the wife's going to watch this, she'll laugh, because I actually cried. It was that good. I'm like sitting there enjoying ourselves. Everyone around us is laughing. They're having drinks. They're having good food, and everyone's having a great time. We're all talking to the different tables, and I sat back and I'm like, this is just great. We've got great wine, great company, you know, potentially a decent partner here in Soph, which obviously became the way. And they also had a competition on that night that they had like a trivia thing, funnily enough. And it was like first person to raise their hand got to us, answer the question. Got down to like 3 of us. And I don't know, I was pretty inebriated by then. And the wife doesn't like to, you know, talk up too much. She's a bit shy, which is all fine. Oh, this is beautiful in here in Italy. And I ended up winning it. And what it was, it's called a Magnum. And it's like this huge bottle of wine. It was this quality wine from the Barossa Valley in South Australia. And it was just a great night. We ended up taking that big bottle around the city. We walked around for a little bit. It was a beautiful night. It would have been like 10 o'clock at night. And we got a taxi back. And then we got back and we were like, oh, we don't feel so good. And I think we both ended up barfing in the kitchen sink. And then we went to bed and woke up and it was still there. Ew. But I think just from a very good memory of mine, if I was going to have a last meal, I'd like to do that again. I know it wouldn't be the same, but it'd be just something going down memory lane again would be nice. Here we go, Mr. Exchange. A light, unoaked Chardonnay goes well with mac and cheese. It certainly would. And make sure it's chilled. That'd be good. Just a little bit of chill in the fridge. I'd love that. That'd be good. My dad loves his bloody wine. Every time I call him, it could be 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 10 o'clock at night. He's always got a glass of wine in his hand. And he bought a massive caravan. I wouldn't even call it well, it is a caravan. It's on a trailer, but it's not a caravan, if you know what I mean. So we do have plans, once this COVID stuff's over, to go up, grab that caravan, head to Byron, and have a good time. Go and catch up Danny in Brisbane, maybe. Park out the front of his house and have a bit of fun doing some videos and, I don't know, go scooting, all that kind of stuff. Still need to do a ride in Brisbane and give you some... Yeah, mate, get on that. I'd love to get some footage, and I'm thinking too I might strap a GoPro to my bike, maybe today, and show you around my area, and see what you think, because it's a very good track. It's got freeways. I'm not on the freeway, I'm on the bike path next to freeway. It's got like bridges, wooden bridges that go for hundreds of meters. It's got dirt tracks, concrete, parklands. It's cows as well. So it's plenty to keep you occupied and keep you off thinking about all the pain that your legs are going through at the moment. So we've got another good average watch time. Really appreciate that. 8 minutes 50 so far. I think the best at the end was about 12 minutes. And 10 people have watched. So it seems to be increasing. I appreciate whoever is sharing out there this. I I love the fact that we can do this. I can feel fit. I'm motivated to get up a bit earlier. Otherwise, I'd be back in bed watching YouTube videos, to be honest, and getting ready to go to work, which now I don't have like a 40-minute drive to the office anymore. I'm just in here. So I've got some time. May as well utilize it, talk to my boys and my girls online, and get some exercise done at the same time. Danny, what would be your last meal you'd ever have? And I know Emma's listening, but she's got an early meeting. Let me know what you would have, Mr. Danny Black. And what food would you eat, Mr. Exchange? Whew. All right, we're going downhill, 51 kilometers an hour, minus 5% incline. I guess you could call it minus, or else it'd just be a 5% decline. And he's gone 20.1 kilometers so far. He's flying. The Italian countryside is pretty amazing, hey? What time have we got? 24 minutes. I've been rambling on for that long already. I'd love to see Brisbane through the eyes of Danny's GoPro on his scooter or bike or whatever he's going to use, just to see what it looks like these days, because it's been a while since I've been there. I went once to Bris Vegas, which I think's like a strip, or it used to be open quite a lot, and it was pretty, lots of ruckus, lots of people, lots of clubs, all that kind of stuff, lots of drinking. I don't know if it still has that name anymore. It's kind of like the Chapel Street here, and again, Chapel Street, it's so eerily quiet. Curfew's still on at 8 p.m, got to be home, no cars on the streets, unless obviously you're a essential worker coming home or going to work. But we're sleeping really well. There's not a lot of activity out on our roads. So, unless the kids are waking us up. But, whoa, he is flying here. What is he, 38 k's an hour? The little JB logo is just covering that up a little bit of what you would be able to see. It's overtaking. Would you call that cheating? Look at that bike on top of that car. I'd love to be on that bike on top of that car. How crazy would that be? You'd be holding on for dear life. Oh, yeah, so today it's mostly a lot of what happened yesterday, working on a video, not for me, but for a client. So getting paid to do videos is always a pleasure. And I also put up on Storyfire last night a new video, which is an abandoned building that comes out tonight on YouTube at 10 o'clock. So you get it around 24 hours earlier on Storyfire. Starting to get some really good positive comments, some good views. It's funny, I've only been on Storyfire for about 3 weeks in terms of uploading footage, and I've already got about a third of the views that I currently do on YouTube for abandoned buildings. So it seems like, because it's such a new platform and some of the bigger YouTubers are talking about it on YouTube, some people are coming across, checking it out and watching some videos. It's nice. So I'll continue to do that, see if it's worth it. You can get paid on there through Blaze Points or whatever they call it too. It's not much, but it is something. And obviously they have a cap on what you have to earn before you can put it into your own bank account. I think it's like $100 or something. So why not? Oh, we stopped. Oh, it's one of these red lights again. There it goes. Because that, let's call it a cave or road, is so thin, because they'd have to chop the crap out of that rock to make another lane. And it's only so small there too. Oh no, it keeps going. They end up using these traffic lights to control which way is going through at the one time. Look at him go, and he knows that no cars are coming, so he's going to hammer it. 38 k's an hour, -2 incline. Scotty, how long did the video approval take? I submitted on Friday. It takes a long time. For me, I think it took 2 months. They're not just letting anyone through either. They really evaluate you and have a look and make sure that you do have a positive outlook on life. You've got some decent quality. I think you've got some good reputation, good consistency in uploading videos, which obviously tick, Scotty, you've got all that. And they do as well, which is really nice. Once they approve you, they let everybody know as Storyfire in the social media of that platform that you've just been approved. And they link people to you, and that's how I quickly got 25 25 subs, so it was cool. But yeah, it takes a while, and I'm sure they've got hundreds, maybe thousands of people that are starting to do that, and that's why I thought I'd get in early. And thanks to Mr. Jonathan Creek, who put me onto Storyfire. He mentioned it in one of our private message group message forum thingies in Facebook, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just submit that, see what happens, and 2 months later get approved. So I thought I'd check it out. But yeah, if you are a channel on YouTube and you're thinking about going on Storyfire, get in there and just put your details into that Google form that they've got there and see what happens. I feel like a lot of these startups are in it to grow and get bought out by bigger companies. Yeah, totally, Danny. I don't think there would be a startup out there, a successful startup, that wouldn't actually know what their exit strategy is before they start doing this stuff. Even some of the apps that we're working on at the moment, they know exactly what their exit strategy is, who they'd sell it to, and how much it'd be for. So I think you've got to think of that in mind. You've got to have an end goal. If it is to create the world's best blah blah platform, or is it to make money, or is it to have that as a scalable business that you can hire people and create a difference? Whatever your goal is, make sure you know what your goal is. 29:35, 20 seconds to go. We should make our own platform. Yeah, we should, but man, the amount of upfront cost, like just to give you a quick idea, server bandwidth is expensive. We've got an application form that we do for an investment company. They get about 300 applicants a month. That's $1,000 a month, and they're uploading PDFs only. You talk about video content, bandwidth, storage, security, all that stuff. It ends up being a very expensive undertaking. And then all it takes is a couple of really big YouTubers or influencers to bag your platform and you're done. So leave it for somebody else, I think, unless there's something extremely good that you could do for people that hasn't been done before, that is very unique, which is what we're building at the moment. I don't think it'd be challenging, especially, I know we're over time, but especially you think about all the different video, like one of the things with Storyfire is they only have one video resolution that they generate off your upload. With YouTube, there's like 10, 4K, 2K, 1K if you want to call that, 1080p, 720, 360, 480, all those different formats are there so that if you've got a low internet connection as a user, it'll use the best one for you. Oh, the view, nice. But with Storyfire, they only do it at 720p at the moment, and that is so that they don't have such a massive hosting bill and bandwidth and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's a challenge to find that middle point. And with no advertising at the moment, the people are using Blaze Points, and it's an extremely challenging thing to do. Anyway, that's it. We can talk about that more tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed today's 30 minutes. If you have any questions, let me know. Make sure you share this if you can in your own social medias, and we'll try and get that number up. 12 minutes average watch time today. So thank you very much for that. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks guys, bye.